This is Inside Indiana Business Radio for the morning of Friday, January 10th, 2025. I'm Alex Brown. Agriculture producers across the United States continue to express optimism over their farm's future, particularly when it comes to regulations, according to the latest Purdue University CME Group Ag Economy Barometer. Purdue's Jim Mintert says the post-election jump in farmer sentiment continues to show.
The question said, do you think environmental regulations impacting agriculture will be more restrictive, less restrictive, or about the same 5 years from now? And the results in November, December compared to October are quite striking. This month in December, 61% of the people in the survey said they look for those environmental regulations affecting agriculture to be less restrictive, and only 7% said more restrictive. If you compare that back to October, that's basically upside down.
The survey also shows the number of farmers who believe income tax rates for farms and ranches will be lower over the next 5 years tripled after the election. Indiana Secretary of Commerce David Rosenberg, president and CEO of the Indiana Economic Development Corporation, has been named the inaugural president and CEO of the Indiana University Launch Accelerator for Biosciences in Indianapolis. Known as IU Lab and supported by a $138 million grant from the Lilly Endowment, the Biosciences Accelerator will be based at the 16 Tech Innovation District. The Indiana State Board of Animal Health voted this week to appoint Kyle Shipman as the new state veterinarian. Shipman had served in the role on an interim basis since October after Brett Marsh stepped down to become dean of Purdue's College of Veterinary Medicine and CEO of the Purdue Veterinary Hospital. From the number one source for Indiana business news, this is Inside Indiana Business Radio.
To succeed, you need to stay informed. You need to be engaged. And let's face it, you need to set yourself apart from the rest by connecting with a company that brings you the best. Because in today's environment, business is an ever-moving target, and we'll help you chase it. IBJ Media. The best of business is in us. Get started at ibjmedia.com/youngprofessional.
U.S. Attorney Zachary Myers says the Indiana Southern District's Office Asset Recovery Unit collected $33.8 million in asset forfeiture and financial litigation debt in 2024. IIB's Marek Mazurek has details.
Of this amount, $18.8 million was collected through enforcement of criminal restitution debts and civil collections, and $15 million resulted from criminal and civil forfeiture actions. The office collected more than $25 million in asset forfeiture and financial litigation debt for the fiscal year 2023. The U.S. Attorney's offices, along with the department's litigating divisions, are responsible for enforcing and collecting civil and criminal debts owed to the United States and criminal debts owed to crime victims in federal cases. The law requires defendants to pay restitution to victims of certain federal crimes who have suffered a physical injury or financial loss. While restitution is paid to the victim, criminal fines and felony assessments are paid to the department's Crime Victims Fund, which distributes the funds collected to federal and state victim compensation and criminal victim assistance programs. Forfeited assets deposited into the Department of Justice Assets Forfeiture Fund are used to restore funds to crime victims and for a variety of law enforcement purposes. I'm Marek Mazurek for Inside Indiana Business Radio.
3 independent orthopedic practices in Indiana are joining forces. Ortho Indy in Indianapolis, Tri-State Orthopedics in Evansville, and Fort Wayne Orthopedics announced plans Thursday to merge and create Ortho Indiana, with the goal of bringing comprehensive orthopedic care across the state. The practices said when the merger is complete in mid-2025, Ortho Indiana will operate 39 locations throughout the state with 160 physicians and more than 1,800 employees. The 3 practices said there are no plans for any job cuts as a result of the merger. Under the new Ortho Indiana umbrella, each practice will maintain separate clinical operations and maintain their current names and branding to preserve their localized focus. Governor Eric Holcomb is this week's guest on the Business and Beyond podcast with Gary Dick, presented by PNC, a weekly conversation with high-profile Hoosiers in business, sports, and entertainment, and beyond. Available now from your favorite podcast provider. I'm Alex Brown for Inside Indiana Business Radio on Demand.